All right, in this video, we're gonna be talking about the exhausting narrative that these guys have. And when I say these guys, most of you out there know who I'm talking about. You get it. You're regular viewers of my channel and you get it. But for those of you who are not regular viewers, let me give you a few examples of what I mean by these guys. Who I mean the Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, Ryan Cannell, Heel versus Babyface. You guys know now, those are the examples. So you know what I'm talking about. You get it, you understand, all right? And if you go on to enjoy this video, make sure you hit subscribe, give me a like, leave a comment down below, and just know that I'm always right about this stuff. I'm always right about it. My regular viewers know that. My name is Eric. I debunk stuff. This is going to be a fun video because I have a lot to say. Let's get into this. When I say an exhausting narrative, I mean it. Everything is woke, DEI, this, that, and the other. It's just the same regurgitated, outrage, manufactured, performative bullshit every single time they post something. And it is exhausting. So Critical Drinker here says, and I'm going to translate this for you because I think it's important for you to understand what the perspective is, what the narrative is, what their message is. Brave New World is sitting at 341-ish million after 3 weekends. At this rate, it's unlikely to even make 400 million. Oh no, what will we ever do? As casual moviegoers, what will we ever do if a movie doesn't make its budget back? I mean, the massive effect it would have on my day-to-day life. I sit around and I'm so concerned about how much money movies make for shareholders and companies. It's just all I can think about every single day. Can we all accept that the movie is a total flop now? They only value art based on how much money it makes. That's it. They don't see success in anything unless it is extremely, extremely profitable. Money to them means everything until it doesn't. And this is where the foundation of their entire narrative crumbles around them. Because I don't believe that a movie is good or bad based on how much money it makes. That's not an argument that I would ever make. I would say most people who enjoy things do not worry about how financially successful something is when it comes to how much they love it. It doesn't really factor into anything else. This is the kind of like tone deaf, anti-art, brain rot, just completely warped community. This is what they've cultivated. And keep in mind, Critical Drinker can't make good shit. His movie was garbage. It was bad. I don't even need to see sales numbers to know that. But that's what I mean. Like we decide what we like based on how we feel about something, how much we enjoy it. And the money thing doesn't matter. It should only matter to the shareholders, investors, people at the top end. The general public shouldn't care about this stuff. They've turned it into a game. They have monetized outrage based on like a sports thing, like whose team is winning and whose team is losing. And that's what they've done to a lot of their viewers. They have warped you guys. A lot of you guys out there that watch them, your enjoyment of stuff has been destroyed by these channels. But let me say, there's a couple of outliers that I can think of off the top of my head that prove that the amount of money something makes does not factor into their opinion of the overall film that they're talking about. This is their argument, and this is how their narrative gets completely destroyed. Captain Marvel, $1 billion plus movie. Barbie, $1 billion plus movie. 2 movies that they argued, most of them argued, I'm not going to say every single one of them, but their community argued was bad. But they both made over $1 billion. And then there would be a little asterisk on that to why the movies made the money they make. However, if I were to tell you, give you, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 reasons why Brave New World is underperforming, things like the current economy, the fact that the movie is still #1 at the box office, meaning that people aren't choosing to see another non-woke movie other than Captain America. They're not choosing to see another movie. They're just not going to theaters. And that's a bigger discussion, a broader discussion that doesn't even really matter because the people that watch these channels don't care about that kind of discussion. So it's not even a conversation that I would get into with people who listen to Critical Drinker because you guys are just too completely brain rotted to even have that conversation, to be quite honest. But this is the kind of community they cultivate. So those kind of conversations, like the fact that Captain Marvel made over $1 billion, doesn't matter, and their narrative is completely destroyed, but they just keep rolling with it. They keep going because the people that are in their echo chamber only need to be validated. That's it. That's the only thing. Let's talk about VOD releases. I did a little research on this because I know that some movies have performed well on VOD. Most big blockbuster movies make somewhere between 30 and 50 million additional funds on those VOD releases before they become like part of Disney Plus or whatever. Meaning that when this movie leaves theaters in like 2 weeks, I think we've got like maybe 14 more days before it kind of completely tracks out. It's got another couple weeks in theaters, which means it'll probably get somewhere north of like 370, 380, somewhere in that ballpark. And then it'll make between 30 and 50 million additional on VOD. It's hard to find the exact numbers. That's why I'm saying between 30 and 50. Because again, I did research and it seems like that is a ballpark estimate that most analysts have. So if we're to take the experts' word at that, that would put it over 400 million, which would put it into that like gray area where analysts say the movie would be getting its budget back. So Disney would just break even on this film. And I think that's a good thing because the movie was already controversial to begin with. They're putting all their eggs in the basket of Fantastic Four, which I think is the right thing to do. I think that movie is probably going to be a massive movie for them. So they're putting their eggs in that basket. This movie, they had to get it out there. We know that there was a third act rework on it. We know that. That's not a big mystery. So there's a lot of things this movie had to go through to get where it is. But still, if it goes north of 400 million, I think Disney's fine. They're fine with it. I think they're not ecstatic about it. They're not throwing parties about that, but I think they're fine with that. But it doesn't even matter. Again, the money to me doesn't even matter. I enjoyed the movie, and my enjoyment of the movie is not affected whether the movie makes a bunch of money or doesn't make a bunch of money. And that's the way normal people should be viewing movies. A lot of the cult classic and well-loved movies go on for years and years and years before they become loved by everybody, and then they become one of those films that everyone looks back on. They go, you know what? I went back and watched it, and now I love it. Now it's great. Will Captain America 4 be that movie? I don't know. I can't predict that now. I don't know what this movie is going to look like. I don't know foundationally where this movie is going to stack up when we look beyond like Secret Wars. We have no idea. We have no idea. And then you have JDA here going, complete flop. No one wanted black replacement Captain America. And the thing is, JDA, as big of a piece of shit as he is saying exactly what these guys are thinking, but are afraid to actually say, is that they just don't want a black Captain America. And they have incentivized their community to go out and spread that rot everywhere they can. So at the end of the day, I know the vast majority of people in this community just don't want a black guy wearing the red, white, and blue. Even when they love that character. It's so weird. Love him as Falcon, hate him as Captain America. He did nothing. Sam did nothing wrong. All he did was get the mantle passed on to him from Steve, something that happened in the comics back in 2014. They talk about comic book fidelity. It happened in the comics, but fuck that, I guess. Fuck that for them. So he gets the shield passed to him by Steve. He didn't ask for it. Matter of fact, he didn't even really want it to begin with. He gets this passed on to him. He puts on the suit. He goes out. He tries to represent the best of what Captain America is for the world. He mentions in the show, in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, the impact of a black guy as Captain America. And the irony of that is completely lost on these fuckers. It's completely lost. I just want you guys to understand how utterly stupid it is to care about the quality of a movie in regards to how much money the movie is making at the box office. I will love the day when this is done. When we can go back to arguing about the things that happen in these movies and no one talks about the fucking box office again. When I was growing up and we were going to the movie theaters, we would talk about the shit in the movie. We'd get out of the movie, we'd talk about it, we'd have some beers, we'd have some pizza. We would talk about the movie, whether we loved it or hated it, and not one fucking person talked about how much money that movie made. No one talked about that because no one gave a fuck because it was about the art. And now these guys have stripped the souls out of these movies. They've stripped the souls out of the art They've thrown it away and they've turned it into a sports game. They've turned it into gambling, into betting, into arguing about something that shouldn't matter to anybody that's going to see these movies.